I believe we're live. I'm gonna drop my open here. That's the first thing to do. So let's try to drop that. There we
Welcome
go.
back to the Hank Strange Situation.
All right, guys, we're about to do this.
Lifestyles
Make
of the
sure you
lost and
subscribe,
loaded.
thumbs up, ring the bell so you can be notified when we go live. And we are live right now with Mr. Colion Noir. Welcome back to the Who Moved My Freedom podcast, man.
What's going on?
A lot. I want to say nothing much, but there's a lot of stuff going on here. This is episode 411, so you guys are getting the 411 on Colion Noir. It's like good numbers. I don't know if you're into numerology or anything like that. You know. So yeah, it looks like everything's good here. We got a bunch of people coming in. Before we get into this here, I'm just going to ask everyone to thumbs up this video, share it, leave your comments in here. We'll try to get to questions from folks out there as soon as we can. Also, subscribe here to the channel if you're not already subscribed. This is Lifestyles of the Locked and Loaded. And ring the bell so you can be notified whenever we go live. All right, Colion Noir. What's the deal?
Yes, sir. Nothing much, man. Just working like a madman per usual.
Okay. Are you like multitasking right now?
My brain's weird, man. I actually.
Oh, and then you froze for a sec.
Because I've been reading this book called The One Thing. It tells you truly can't multitask.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like when I'm multitasking, I focus better, which I don't really know how true that is. I feel like I get more distracted if I'm singularly focused.
Right. Yeah.
Or I just need medication, one of the two.
Yeah, you know, or both of those. I think it depends what I'm doing. If I'm editing, I have to be distracted by something.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because it's like I think I'm very good at editing. If I could say I'm good at anything, but I hate editing. So
you see, I have a love-hate relationship with it. Like back in the day when things were moving a lot slower and I could get away with putting out fewer videos at a time, I used to enjoy the process. I used to enjoy the creative process. I used to go sit down. I'd have like a glass of whiskey. You know, I'd have my mood music playing in the background.
Right,
and then
right.
Just I'd hit it, I'd zone and just see me posting it on my story sometimes. Well, back in the day, but nowadays it's just a burden because it's like I got to get this thing out. Without sacrificing any quality involved. So even though I still do that, it's more of a burden now than it was a kind of enjoying the process, which I think is not a good thing.
Yeah. I'm sure folks out there would imagine you have a whole staff of people out there. You know, you've got probably like 5 editors and different producers and, you know, someone does your graphics and your animation.
So if it was an NRA show, then yeah. Mm-hmm. But for my own personal stuff, no.
You're on your own.
Yeah, I'm pretty much completely, utterly on my own. I have a videographer that I work with from time to time, but he's not my full-time videographer. So for me, a lot of it I have to do on my own, the filming, the shooting. He's coming on more often now, so that's taking a big load off of doing more to pump out more stuff. So so the alleviation that I was supposed to get, I don't really get because I just end up filling that space with more work.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know if anyone out there is seeing the breaks. I know like I think we might be suffering a little bit from whatever's going on the internet. You know, there's like a social media thing going on.
Yeah.
Someone broke the internet. I don't know what happened. I don't know who dropped a new song or whatever it is that broke the internet. So if anyone sees that, just like bear with us. We'll try to get through it. I know there's some people that have done some super chats, so I want to thank those folks. Andrew says he's looking forward to the show. Jim Gregory says, just thanks to Colion for all he's done to further the cause. Thank you, brother. That's from Jim Gregory.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. So on my end here, there's like super chats and stuff like that coming through. Do you do live stuff on your YouTube channel?
As of now, no. I'm
Okay. Looks like
it's just is the thing. People always want, like when people ask me to do certain things and then I kind of hesitate. They think it's kind of me being an asshole. Really, it's just I don't want to say yes and then end up having having to back out. Like I was supposed to do Skip's Tactical podcast, and I had to back out last minute because something came up. Or no, I actually had a conflict of schedule, and so I had to back out of that. So I'll probably be doing hers in the near future, and I try to avoid doing it as much as possible.
Yeah, cool. Shout out to Skip's Tactical. Good woman out there, fighting for the Second Amendment, serving her country, doing good things. We've had her on here a few times. Let's see.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Christian Gress says, welcome to the show, Colion. We got some people coming in, so I'm giving everyone a chance to come in. As you guys come in, thumbs ups. We'll probably get to some questions here. We've got Gunstreamer out there as well. I don't know if you ever heard of Gunstreamer.
Gunstreamer.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Gunstreamer is a platform a lot like YouTube. They have an iPhone, Android app. Yeah. They've got a lot of good things going on. So let's see. Brian Quick says, does the counselor Colion play Billy Ocean for Mute Music? Inquiring minds want to know. Got some Billy Ocean.
I like Billy. Well, I've been known to post some of his stuff on IG.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. So
okay.
I guess you could say yeah.
What's that dude from ATL that did drop it like a salt shaker? Drop it like a salt shaker. Who is that, Lola?
Name.
Damn, who is that? Smooth like Billy Ocean. I can't remember the whole song. Don't even get me started on that. I'm too old school. I'm old school hip hop. So yeah, lots of people are coming in here. Here's what I'm gonna do, man. I'm gonna try to get to some stuff that I think people would like to know about you. Do you have any like ground rules here? Is there stuff that you cannot get into, questions you can't answer and stuff like that?
Say it again.
Yeah. Do you have any ground rules? Is there stuff that you're not allowed to talk about?
Oh, if it comes up, I'll say that.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Just let us know. And like I said, man, lots of people thanking you for coming on the show. Gibson Fender thanks you. So let's start right now. What is going on with you, NRA TV, man? I think that's the big thing, everyone. Let's just jump into it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What's your status, yo?
My status is the status. NRA TV as of now is done, as far as I know. So no longer doing any shows through NRA TV. But with me, I keep trucking along. My foot stays on the gas pedal. Right. So that's pretty much the long and short of it.
Yeah, you were working before this. So now you I think we all know. You can tell me if I'm incorrect here, but you're an employee of Ackerman McQueen, not NRA, right?
So the work I was doing with NRA was through Ackerman McQueen. They're the agency on record for the NRA. Okay. They thus had a falling out, and as a result of that, as you saw, NRA TV went down. So now things are just kind of up in the air in limbo.
Okay. So what's your relationship with the NRA? Are you in communication with anyone at the NRA?
Not in particular, no. I haven't had anyone reach out to me or speak to me.
Okay. And how long has that been?
It's been a little bit.
Really? Okay.
It's been a minute.
So people in the NRA you thought you were cool with or something, someone would at least like say, yo, what's up with you, man? How you doing?
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot going on right now. So I think there's a lot in the way of distraction. So for me, like I said, what I do, my foot stays on the pedal. So whenever the dust settles, we'll see how it looks and we'll see what goes.
Right. Okay. So what about Ackerman McQueen? Are you talking with those guys? Let me say that again. So what about Ackerman McQueen? Are you in communication with them?
My relationship with them was basically NRA TV. Okay. So since since NRA TV is kaput, it is what it is. Yeah.
So what's up with you, man? Are you just like lonely right now? Is anyone talking to you? Do you feel like the redheaded stepchild of the Second Amendment movement? What the hell?
I'm a proverbial lone wolf. I've always kind of been that way. Okay. So for me, it's a non-starter, to be honest with you. Like I've taken this platform that I've had for over 12 years now, and I continue to just move it forward. Whoever wants to attach themselves to it, so be it, we can have that conversation. But as far as I'm concerned, my passion lies with the movement. with the
Right.
Second Amendment. That's where it exists, and that's where it will always stay. So I'll keep moving forward with that,
Mm-hmm.
anything
Yeah.
like that.
Okay. I
Everything's
think we
cool. So
lost that last part. I'm not sure what the deal is with that.
the
Yeah, the
yeah,
last few
yeah,
words there, if you can go over.
the internet sucks today.
Yeah.
No, what I was saying was, for me, there's no bad blood between me and anyone or any organization at all. Everything was copacetic on my end. So with me, I just continue to move forward.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. So, I don't know how where like I'm trying to figure out where we should start with this to really go back because I think there folks out there
Mhm.
feel like with with the whole breakup that's going on with the NRA, all the drama and everything that's happening recently. I'm gonna take it back to it really started breaking maybe 2 weeks or something like that before NRA show.
Mhm.
Um, how did that all unfold for you? Because there's lots of folks out there who think that you are in the know of everything that's going on there. So
Man,
did
let me tell you something.
mhm,
I answer a lot of questions that people like to ask me, and when I tell them that I don't know, they don't believe me.
right?
I all of the information. What? Somebody said close my windows. I have the live up on this side up here.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. If
all
you
of
do
the
have
inf-
some stuff open, maybe maybe you can close it. I don't know if it's going to work. I think for
what do
anyone
you
who's
mean?
seeing all the yeah, like if you have stuff open, if you can minimize them,
Uh,
maybe
let's
minimize
see.
them would help.
Let's see
Uh,
here. Because I do have a quadrillion windows open at one time usually.
oh, okay. Yeah, that
Yeah. Let's see. All right. Let's get out of Spotify. Let's
yeah.
get out of Evernote. Let's get out of. I told you, dude.
Wow.
Let's see here. If you want a deep insight into how my brain works, just look at my computer at any given
Mhm.
moment. It'll tell you everything you need to know.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it, man. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff going on all the time.
Here. All
So,
right. So I closed
yeah.
out of pretty much everything.
Okay. Yeah, it still may take a couple of minutes for everyone to
Looks like
catch up.
this search everything
Yeah.
time. Gotcha.
By the way, for everyone who's out there joining us, smash the thumbs ups if you can. We appreciate it while we got a little break going on here. Smash the thumbs ups. I am going to shout out people that do super chat stuff. I'll probably try to hold it till towards the end just so we can get some conversation in here while everything's good. You know what? If you don't like us, you can do the thumbs down. Either one doesn't matter. It's all good. And then we'll try to get as many things in here as we can in the time. We're going to be going till 9. Are you still closing windows?
Yes. You thought I was joking?
Someone says it's the someone says it's the porn.
It's the porn. Not on this computer.
Yeah, yeah. You got a special computer for that? Do you have a boy? If should anything happen to you, do you have assigned people to go in and clear clear out all your cookies?
Man,
Clear
I
everything.
don't have anybody. I don't have anybody to answer to, so the cookies stay open.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, we might find out some things, but you won't be here, so it's not gonna matter. You know what I mean? It won't matter. All right, let's see. We'll try to get this now. What was I asking you? I think I was asking you about. The folks out there have like an idea of what's going on. So I was trying to get from you how this whole thing unfolded. I think you were saying that people think you're in the know when you're not
Yeah.
necessarily in the know. You're just out there doing a job, right?
Pretty much for the most part. I'm kind of a head down, all full steam ahead kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many moving parts that I have going on in my life right now in terms of what I do that I get kind of pull me out to get me to focus on other stuff. People have to talk me into like going out and stuff like that. But for the most part, all of the information that I gather regarding this whole dynamic going on with the NRA, honestly, is born from the same articles that everybody else has access to.
Mm-hmm.
All of the stuff I'm finding out as the articles are being released. So I learned about NRA TV going down by way of an article.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm pretty much in the same position as just about everybody else.
Right.
Incredibly hopeful. Like when the dust settles, I think everything will be on the up and up, and we can get back on track and do what we need to be doing for this right. But right now, that things are pretty much in a limbo.
Okay. Are you bound by any NDAs or anything like that?
Nope.
No. Okay. All right. Good. So what would you say to the people out there that are saying like, okay, all of this stuff is going on with the NRA. We don't hear from Colion Noir. We don't know where he's at with bump stocks or suppressors, and they just want to hear from you. What would you say to those people?
Huh?
Yeah. What would you say in
You do know
response
where I'm
to?
at, Bun.
Yeah.
I've made pretty blatant statements about bump stocks. I think
Okay.
what a lot of people don't understand is, one, when I'm especially when I'm filming and I'm traveling, it's hard for me to put videos out on YouTube. So
Hmm.
sometimes what I'll do is I'll make statements via open letters. Like for instance, the Philando Castile situation, right?
Hmm.
I found out about the verdict being handed down when I was getting off a plane, getting ready to film something in Utah. So at that moment, I'm walking to the airport. I get a call from the Guardian, and like, we would like to get your thoughts on the verdict for Philando Castile. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I just got off a plane. So at
Hmm.
that moment, I went back to where I was staying and literally opened my laptop and typed out 500-word open letter about the situation,
Hmm.
and pass it out there because I didn't have the camera equipment set up where I could put together a video and then just say something about it. Same thing with the bomb stock thing. I put out several tweets about my um, with my blog. I wrote a post about it on my blog, and then ended up doing several interviews where I was asked explicitly, how do I feel about bump stocks, and do I think they should be banned? And I was like, nope.
Hmm.
So I think what ends up happening is, because the audience that I have is, I don't want to say sex segmented is the wrong word, but I have a large audience on multiple platforms. So I have a large audience on Instagram. I have a large audience on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And
Right.
then there's not a lot of cross pollination between those two because, for instance, Instagram skews a lot younger,
Hmm.
whereas Facebook tends to skew a lot older. And so the people who are on Facebook generally aren't going to be on Instagram, and vice versa. So if
Yeah.
I put something out on Instagram or Facebook, on Instagram, they might not see it on Facebook, or may not see it on YouTube, so forth and so on.
Yeah.
So I think that's what might have happened in that regard with people in terms of my stance on the bump stock, how it could be missed or lost on a lot of people. But I've spoken up about it, and I've said my piece about it.
Hmm. So, I mean, if like you said, I think that you have spoken up about it. But for those people who haven't heard about it, what's your opinion? Can we go back to, because right now I think there's court cases and all that going on. There's lawyers for families and stuff like that suing the gun companies right
I
now. All the stuff.
I I thought so when the bump stock decision was handed down. Well, that's the bump stock decision. When the whole debacle regarding the bump stock
Hmm.
situation came down, for me, I was right there watching what was going on, especially in Congress, and there were a lot of Republican senators who were willing to bring a bill to the floor to ban bump stocks, and for them, a lot of these congressmen were either the people who barely won the district or they were in purple states.
Hmm.
And you had one senator out of Florida who was literally bringing the bill on his own accord. And this is a Republican we're talking about here. I
Yeah,
think a lot of
man.
yeah, I think a lot of people
Sucks.
misconstrue. Yeah, like Republicans aren't. A lot of these Republican congressmen are not gun people.
Nope.
They're not. They really honestly follow lockstep in what was just to go the opposite direction, like was the case with the senator in Florida who wanted to bring the bump stock bill to the floor. Now, taking that into account, you have to understand this. If I'm a congressman and all I'm worried about is my votes in my elections, and I have a constituency that's kind of down the middle on the issue. When you talk about bump stocks, remember the congressman is not a gun guy, and a lot of the constituency aren't gun people. And so all they see is a piece of plastic that turns a gun into a fully automatic weapon. So
Hmm.
now from the politician's mindset, he's like, wait, so you mean to tell me I'm going to have to be on record defending machine guns? Because that's what the constituency hears.
Hmm.
So it makes them scared, and they say, okay, well, it's not a gun, so I'm not going to get a lot of blowback from. So let me go ahead and just ban. Let me just go ahead and propose to ban this piece of plastic because you know what? I'm going to look like the hero, right?
Hmm.
And so to my constituency on the other side, that's a little more moderate. Um, he needs a good internet connection. I have fiber wire. What are you
Yeah.
talking?
Yeah. I don't think we could do much about this. I think it's just the way the internet's going today. So,
Yeah.
it could be. We don't know who it is right now, and I don't think it's either one of us. Like we've got everything
Yeah.
shut
We need
down
to
here.
figure it out.
On our side, yeah. It's just the internet's going real bad today. And I think what people don't understand about the internet is that there's not a lot of people that are servers, that have servers going. You know what I mean? There's a few companies out there that really have the server farms, and everyone else is beholden to them. And we actually need to change that. We need to change that. And this is probably the reason why. Because when one thing goes down, it kind of has a ripple effect. Like IG's not working. It's not doing anything with Facebook. So everyone, and then with everyone else piling onto the other social medias that are working, that slows everything down even more. So that's what we got going on. So whatever, we'll get through it, Yeah.
So, opportunists in a sense. They say, I don't want to be on record defending machine guns. And then at the same time, I can look like a hero to the people, to my constituency that's a little more centrist. So especially on the issue of firearms. So it's like, okay, let's ban this thing that turns guns into machine guns. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump on it before the other people do, right? The problem with that is the NRA, as far as I knew, didn't want them banned. However, at the same time, you're still asking a congressman who's not a gun guy, who's only worried about elections, to defend what he essentially thinks is a machine gun. So what ends up happening is there's a change of strategy that needs to take place, right? I call it providing cover, right? And so the way I looked at it, and I agreed with the strategy, and this strategy inevitably didn't work, and I'll tell you, and I'll get to the reason
why.
Are
we talking about the whole like 3D chess thing that came up?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the strategy, because I'll tell you what. So for me, I look at the situation, and being as close as I was to it, I could see the vehement pushback, so to speak, and just say, you know what? Nope, no banning. That's it, right? We would have lost. That was an absolute guaranteed loss. So there was a calculated risk. There was the idea that, you know what? And I'm not speaking for them. I'm telling you from my observation, this is what I think went down. There was this notion that says, all right, we have the ATF over here, who has ruled on these bump stocks multiple times. We don't have the time. We just had one of the worst mass shootings in this country's history. We don't have time to sit here and we don't have the time to educate the public on the distinctions between a bump stock, fully automatic, semi-automatic, all of that stuff, especially if it goes to the floor in Congress, because they were pushing that through because they knew that the emotions were very high right now, and they would be able to garner the sentiment. They would be able to garner positive sentiment for a bill that not only banned bump stocks, but a ton of other stuff on the floor of Congress, sheerly based off of the emotion alone. That's funny. Somebody said there is jamming the feed.
Yeah. Who knows?
From this perspective, what I looked at as the strategy was to say, let's punt it over to the ATF so that no one in Congress even has to vote on it. None of these Republicans who are kind of scared and kind of light-footed on the issue don't even have to vote on it and be on record voting for it. And so you punt that over to the ATF, and like the ATF, the same organization that's ruled on the bump stock twice in our favor, you punt it over to them. By the time they go through the entire process, the comment process, and all of those things, I mean, the emotions of what had happened would have died down a bit, right?
So they thought, like strategy-wise, they thought those guys wouldn't change their mind because they'd looked at it 2-3 times already before that.
Not only would they not change their minds, they technically couldn't.
Right.
And when the NRA made this, you got to remember that statement was made by lawyers. Right. So I understood why people read it and was like, oh my God, they're telling them to ban. I was like, that was a statement made by lawyers. And at the same time, if I'm trying to tell you to attention to over here that actually has a rock in it. So I'm going to write a statement that's going to sound like it's doing one thing when it's really doing another. And so what it is, it's punting over to the ATF. One of the directors of the ATF was literally like, they know we can't do anything with this. That's why they're punting it to us. So he literally said.
So, and I think, were you aware that, like, did you see the things where LaPierre, I think even Chris Cox were coming out and saying that the NRA wasn't for machine guns anyway, you know, that they supported the ban on machine guns and things like that. Did you see any of that information that was coming out? Okay, but that was out there at the time.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was that what they said?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, because LaPierre did an interview at the time. This wasn't even like old stuff. He did an interview where at the time he.
I do remember that interview. There was a subsequent one too where he pulled back on that statement as well.
Okay.
Yeah. There was because I remember seeing that interview and I went.
What's going
Okay.
on?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Um, again, cover. The biggest fear, I think, was the idea that these senators were going to be on record defending machine guns.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you and I don't have a problem with that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But we are talking about people who are not gun people, and we're struggling now to keep them from trying to ban semi-automatic
Yeah.
rifles.
Right. Well, so
Much
how
less
did that flip? So how did that flip though? If we thought and we all debated this. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
re-argue that whole thing. I think it was like everyone got up in arms. Everyone was going at each other. I'm included in that whole thing. How did
Uh-huh.
how did it come out this way when there were people who thought, yeah, there's no way they're gonna look at this and go, nope, we already said these aren't machine guns. How did that all flip?
Trump.
Okay.
Long and short of it. That's the long and short of it. Everything was going just fine. Literally,
Mm-hmm.
they went through the review process. They were pretty much going to come out with the same conclusion that they came out with before.
Mm-hmm.
Then Trump directed them to ban them unilaterally.
Yeah, so I don't know what your relationship is with Trump. Do you even have one?
You're right. I didn't hear.
I said I don't know
You
what
break
your
up, man. Repeat that
relationship. I don't know what your relationship is with Trump. Do you have one?
No, I've never actually met Trump.
Okay.
I met Trump Jr.
Trump Jr. Okay. Do you guys have a relationship? Are you cool? Text each other?
Yeah, pretty. I mean, like we don't fall asleep on the phone together or anything like that. But you know,
Thanks. Good for
you know,
that.
I've talked to him a couple times.
Okay. So I mean, let's step back a second. Even when the NRA came out and supported Trump and all that kind of stuff, right? And said they just anointed him. This is going to be like our president, and he's a gun guy. Where were you at on that? Because I remember being at like SHOT Show or something. Like, how'd this happen?
Repeat that last part again.
Yeah.
One more time.
So do you remember when the NRA came out and anointed Trump as a gun guy, and this is our dude? Where were you at on that? And then can you compare that to when, like you just said, he's the one that pushed for this ban on bump stocks? Did he change or do
Man, you're freezing on me.
Yeah, I know it's freezing up a little bit. Where are you at on Trump and the NRA coming out?
So where am I at with Trump now?
Yeah, where were you at when the NRA anointed him, and then where were you when he's the one that came out and did this? How did that?
I was
did that
fine with
change?
Trump. I was fine with Trump initially, still very much into him for the most part. But what I will say is that he's demonstrated a lot of ignorance on the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Trump, like the way he saw it, like I said, I can't speak for him. I'm not him, but from my perception, is he saw it as a piece of plastic. Therefore, it's not a gun. Therefore, I can do whatever I want with it. Get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting a lot of flack. He was getting a lot of pushback about the bump stock thing. He thought he could throw it. He thought he could throw the other side of bone.
Yeah.
And so it was a piece of plastic and nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
And so people have to understand, just because people are Republicans does not mean that they are gun people.
Right.
And so what ends up happening, and then not only that,
because they say they're gun people doesn't mean they understand the Second Amendment, or or what that means. Okay, I know we just broke up again.
It's like we live this.
Mm-hmm.
Did it?
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, say that again.
So we live this, right? So we follow it extremely closely. A lot of those guys in Congress don't.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They have their own motivations. They have their own agendas. Now, it is left to us to be as loud as possible to make them hear us. But for the most part, they're largely ignorant on firearms. They don't know very much about them. And to be honest with you, I think their position on them is rather apathetic. I think it's contingent on whether or not it allows them to continue to hold on to their constituency. As long as it continues to do that, they're pro 2A. I think the moment that they're in a position where they can get away from doing that and it would garner them another group of constituents, they'll do that in a heartbeat. I think that's what we need to understand about these politicians, is that they are representatives that we elected, and we need to hold them accountable and hold them to the fire, because they will flip-flop to whatever serves to their advantage.
Yeah. Who do you think is giving Trump information about guns? He obviously doesn't know anything about it. He thinks that, to think that the bump stock thing was just, plastic. Who's giving him information?
I have not the slightest clue.
Okay.
I would assume, because even take the most recent statement, which I tweeted about suppressors, right?
Yeah.
To me, again, that's no different than the bump stock thing. I think this is a man who largely doesn't know that much about firearms and saw a suppressor and thought, that's not a gun, therefore not protected under the Second Amendment. I don't like him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
What?
but it's ironic because his son was one of the biggest voices for pushing the Hearing Protection Act. You know, so which goes to tell you there's a disconnect of information. And so from that perspective, what we have to understand when it comes to is he is not a gun guy. He's not. And so in his mind, he kind of has a very myopic view of the Second Amendment from the standpoint that it only applies to guns. That's it. I think when it comes to the matter or the issue of guns, I don't think we have anything to worry about. Like, however, when it comes to ancillary aspects of firearms, when it comes to bump stocks, suppressors, things of that nature, then I think that's where things get a little dicey with respect to Trump, because, like I said before, he's not a gun guy, and so the level of depth that you and I would get into with respect to the Second Amendment is not going to be to the same degree that Trump would. It's going to be very surface level.
Yeah. Have you ever asked Junior, like, dude, what's up with your old man? You know, can you talk to him?
Nah, we not. I mean, like I said, I've spoken to him, but we ain't that cool.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that's like, if I was talking to him, that's the one conversation I want to have. I mean, I'm a New Yorker, so I understand how, like, New Yorkers think. You have to, like, get to the meat.
Yeah. No,
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. I like I said, I don't have a direct line of communication to Trump Jr. So
Yeah, I think we're all on our own when it comes to that, and I think that's an unfortunate reality. Some of us realized it. There's lots of people out there that were very happy for Trump to be the guy. I think ultimately, you know, we all made those decisions, and people voted for him or didn't. You know, lots of gun guys did vote for him, and we're disappointed. I'm still.
Would I do something different?
No, me neither.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want Hillary up there. You know, that would be a lot worse situation. Every single opportunity here, I think we would have taken huge losses. The problem is here that every time something happens, we're kind of like backsliding a little bit, trying to appease people.
I think the thing is like the Second Amendment. I look at the Second Amendment as a castle, right? And the problem with it being a castle is that it doesn't matter. Like, people always like to say about the NRA, you know, they're always playing defense. They kind of have to. That's just the nature of defending the Second Amendment. It's a castle that's constantly under attack, and it's hard to mount an offensive attack when you're constantly having to defend the structure that you have. There's the people on the other side of this in the middle of an open field, and they can just throw rocks all day long. So there's really nothing for them to have to defend to ever fall back on a defensive position, which is why I think we've got to be vigilant as a community in terms of defending this right. And unfortunately, there's no rest. We do not get to rest. And if you look, every single time that we have rested, we get caught up. We get caught blindsided.
Yeah. There's a massive machinery trying to take us down every day. Lots of money.
Yep. And that's another thing that people underestimate. This fight requires money. The NRA, as much money as they spent, Bloomberg outspent them by himself. Think about that. One man outspent an entire organization consisting of 5 million people. Think about that. This is a money game. And for people to underestimate that, I think is a grave mistake. It's a grave, and now I think we should have as many pro 2A organizations as we can possibly have. And if you ask me, I'd say donate to all of them. Donate to them all. Donate to all of them 3-4 times over. But when you look at it, just take the tax records. Any other subsequent the closest organization to the NRA is max. They pulled in maybe 10 mil, and then after that it drops down to 3 mil, and then it just gets lower than that after that. We're talking about a man who outspent an organization that pulls in 300 million. Yeah.
Do we have any multi billionaires like that on our side? Is there anyone out there
that I'm aware of? I think there are. The problem is the manner in which that they acquired their wealth. They're living in a space that they cannot come out publicly and be pro-gun, because the moment they do, that wealth is now in jeopardy. It's no different than being a movie star, being a celebrity, and I don't watch celebrities because it's very easy, and I've been falling into it in the earlier parts of my career, is straight up attacking any celebrity and calling them stupid. You don't know what the hell you're talking about, and a lot of them don't. Just to be honest with you, but you can tell the difference between the adamant anti-gun celebrities And the ones that are kind of like, I like this stuff, but I live in a world and space where my career depends on keeping my mouth shut, right? And so they're going to have to frame some things under the guise of, oh, this is just entertainment. Or they're going to go out and shoot with heron or something like that. This is fun, because the world that they live in is not conducive to being outwardly pro 2A. And it's easy for a lot of us to say, well, you should respect the Second Amendment so much that you shouldn't care. At the cost of what? Not being able to feed your family? Right? You like came to you and asked you that. A lot of people can't even bring guns to the jobs that they work at. And if they have to make a decision between whether or not they bring a gun or not, or quit their job, they're gonna not bring.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what. I'm sorry. That's what you. Yeah, you kind of broke up there again. That's kind of what happened in Virginia recently, right? I don't know if that's what you were saying.
I don't know.
Well, I know in Virginia, in this shooting, in the shooting that happened there recently, there was someone who did have a CCW, but she didn't want to bring it to work. She thought something could go wrong, but she didn't do it because it was against the policy.
Yes. I wasn't referring to that, but I do remember that. I do adamantly remember that. Yeah, and which is unfortunate, right? You know, you have somebody who could have possibly done something about it, but she was forced to make a decision between, well, may I be able to protect my life or save the life of other people, or risk losing my job? You know, and it's highly unfortunate.
Yeah, see, now we know what we would do, and I get that. Like, I know if there's people out there screaming, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in. I get it. That's what I believe in. Yeah, I'm gonna go armed. My dad told me this. I grew up in New York City, right? So you really can't have. It's very difficult to have things in New York. I don't know if we broke up here again, but it's very difficult to have stuff in New York. Yeah, it's very tough to have stuff in New York. But my dad always told me, you come home alive, no matter what it takes. Don't come back here in a box, come back alive, and then we'll deal with all the other stuff later. There's a couple of things that I want to bring up in that regards. I know you were talking about the elderly gentleman that just got into a lot of trouble in New York because he defended his home. And then there was the Killer Mike thing, which goes back to what you're saying about the money. You and Killer Mike, I think, had a good conversation, but he turned on you when, basically the industry was like, hey, if you hold this, no more money for you.
I mean, by and large, me and Killer Mike are very cool. We're still cool to this day. Okay. I understood the situation he was in, to be honest with you. There's no bad blood between he and I at all with respect to that, because I understand the dynamic. I had a front row seat to it, and so people also got to understand, it's not just Killer Mike.
Right.
There's a ton of people. So
I'm sorry. You said there's a ton of people. Say that again. You said there's a ton of people that feed their family based off the money he pulls in. You get what I'm saying? For sure.
So, the decisions he makes don't only affect him; they affect a lot of people. So, from that perspective, that's why I don't really hold any bad blood or ill will towards him with respect to that. Just because I understand the dynamic in which he was existing in with respect to the issue. Yeah. I don't, by and large, have to make those type of decisions because I'm a 2A advocate, right? So my level of risk in that regard is rather low on the front end. On the back end, I'm not going to be received well if I venture outside of the gun space for the most part. Then again, I take that back because I've been quite surprised by, behind the scenes about a lot of people who support me that I think would other. And I'm just out and about somewhere, they tell me these things, especially after I did Bill Maher. Doing Bill Maher really brought a lot of people out of the closet, because there's a lot of people who were like, I'm a liberal, but I'm not a full-blown gun person, but seeing you on the show and listening to your points, I see where you're coming from, man. Like, I truly get it. And so I got a lot of that after Bill Maher. And so it kind of changed my mindset a little bit about how I deal or talk about certain issues with respect to the dynamic of the Second Amendment, Hollywood, and people who are liberal and kind of on the fence about guns. And then, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I've been there too. I think there's lots of people out there that do believe in guns, do believe in defending themselves. I think when it comes to money, that's where things like I come across that all the time in the broadcasting world, which is what I think we're doing here. But lots of gun guys don't see that. I deal with people in the broadcasting world, and they're like, man, you're cool. We would love to have you come and do these speeches. Oh, wait a second. You know what? I believe in guns, but the other people at the company don't. You know?
You're
Huh?
breaking up.
Yeah. So a lot of times what I hear
You're
is that people want to do stuff with us, and they believe in the guns, but the other people in the company don't, and that's where it all stops.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing we have to understand about the community as a whole.
Hmm.
It like it's so easy to kind of marginalize us and call us the fringe group, and we have to understand that the biggest, to me personally, right? Like with respect to what I do, I see myself as a converter. And I wear it like a badge.
Hmm.
Like when I talk to people, I tell them I am trying to convert you. I'm not trying to hide the ball here. I am trying to convert you, and I think I'm relatively good at it.
Hmm.
Now, that being said, I think the most finite way of protecting the Second Amendment, one of the best ways of protecting the Second Amendment is creating new gun owners.
Hmm.
And the way we do that is allowing the culture of guns to continue to grow. The tent is possible to the point where the tent's overflowing, we have to get a bigger tent. And so that's why for me, the cultural aspect of things is incredibly important. I grew up a large part of my life not being pro-gun. So there were a ton of stuff that I was already into before I got into firearms.
Hmm.
And so what I did with the firearms, I just incorporated that into my lifestyle. And so I get little comments here and there about certain music that I listen to, things that I'm into, certain, so on and so forth. And that's fine. You don't have to be into what I'm into. But there are a ton of people who relate to me based on those things. Because I was that guy. I'm them. I was the guy who prior to getting into firearms was kind of like, I don't really know about this firearm kind of stuff. Let me do my job. Let me do it. Right. Let me bring as many people over as possible. I don't like all of it. Like the one thing we have to understand is when we kind of go at each other, right? People see that. And this is supposed to be a community. So from that perspective, when I'm new to firearms and I've gotten into vitriolic kind of hatred and trolling of people who are frontward facing representatives of this particular movement in this community, it's like, I don't want to be a part of this. I get that. I hear that all the time. It's like, man, look, I just got into the gun thing. I like it. But man, dude, like that place the gun community is vicious, man. Like it's just toxic.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't really want to be a part of it. So now what have we done? We just create another closet gun person.
Yeah. We're eating ourselves. We're eating ourselves. I think there's a lot of that going on. And before I get off the subject of money, I think that what you have to realize, there's lots of people out there that say, hey, I don't do this for money. I think those of us who are doing this are probably, money is not our number one motivator because we're losing money for doing what we're doing, But when other people are looking at it and they're like, oh, I'm going to get into this world and have to go through all of these kinds of problems in terms of, I'm shut down at what I could do. If you look at YouTube, people that are car advocates out there, they don't have to go through this, right? If you're if you're into cars, you don't have to go through this. You can go from cars to anything else and you're still cool. But if you're in guns, very difficult to go to anything else or do anything else on the side because people are going to shut you down.
Let me tell you this. There are people who have audiences the size of mine, Hickok, so forth and so on, who are not in the gun space and are making millions just off YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I struggle to crack $1,000 sometimes a month on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, I know.
That's the environment and world that we are living in with regard to communication in the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
So why are we making it 10 times harder on ourselves? Like, think about like I could just close up shop and go be a damn lawyer, right? But I love what I do. I truly enjoy it, and I'm incredibly passionate about it. And so I would still do it, but it's like sometimes it's worth it. Like I've had moments like that because the stress is insane.
Yeah,
Just
start that again. Start that
stuff.
again. Before you said moments, you went out. So what did you say? Sometimes.
I said so sometimes I have my moments like, man, is this worth it? Like, because the stress is insane.
Mm-hmm.
I like for me, I look back and I go, holy crap, like this is really having an effect on my mental, my relationships with people. And then I got to turn around and look at the same community. And then now I got to deal with groups of people in that community that are coming at me. And then I got to turn around. And when I go to the other side, it's another group of people who hate me for what I stand for. At a certain point, you're just like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't do anything to anybody. I don't talk bad about anybody. I stay in my own lane. I do what I'm passionate about. And I just do my thing.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand the vitriolic element of the community and where it comes from in a lot of ways. It really baffles.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I know this conversation's tough because it's breaking up a little bit or whatever. We'll try to get Colion to come back. But right now we're going to try to do it because we're here. We got to get it in. Yeah, I think that people need to be really careful with that and need to, like, instead of getting deep into this money thing and beating up people who are on your side, there's a lot of that going on, people beating up people about money or how much money you have. I'm not sure why all of that's happening. I don't really think it's a good idea because I think just by being in this, you believe in the Second Amendment, you believe in guns, you're out here fighting, you're advocating, like you said, you're trying to convert people, bring people over to our side. It's not cool to go after people on that level when just what they're doing is a sacrifice. And then on top of that, we're giving money, we're fighting fights, we're trying to help other people out, we're getting the word out about everything that we possibly can. I just managed to get that in. Go ahead.
What anybody does. If somebody wants to go on YouTube and just shoot guns and blow stuff up and never give $1 to the movement, so what? They're still adding to the culture. Like, people need to understand, like, everyone has their lane, everyone has their role in their task. Some people decided to take those roles up, other people were kind of thrust into it, and sometimes it's a little bit of both. If you want to sit up and just shoot guns and not talk about any of the politics stuff, you're cool with my book. Come on into the camp. Mm-hmm. You want to blow stuff up, as long as you're safe about it and you're not being completely goofy, come on in, join the camp. If all you want to talk about is two-way politics and yell and scream about politics, fine with me. Come on into the camp. I don't care. Mm-hmm. If all you want to do is sit there quietly and give tons of money, do it.
Yeah, we need everyone.
Like, I don't understand this weird filter that we try to pass everyone through to say, are you a real gun guy? Do you like guns? Yep, sure do. All right, are you doing anything to? Are you? That's my standard.
Yeah, say that again. Are you doing anything? That's where you kind of broke up.
So, okay, gotcha. So for me, I look at it like this. Are you doing anything to undermine the Second Amendment in this country? Mm-hmm. And if it's no, come on in. Mm-hmm. We're good. I don't care how you decide to engage in this community. I don't care how you decide to engage in the Second Amendment, as long as you're not hurting anybody and doing anything to undermine the Second Amendment. Because as far as I'm concerned, at that point, you are an ally. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think it's too bad that we're getting into that because, like you said, it's making a lot of people. I know sometimes Lola and I have these conversations, and she's like, wow, This thing is really, I can't believe that we're giving up everything for this. Lola goes to work, she works all day, then she comes here, she stays here until, by the time we get home, it's 11 o'clock at night. And then I'm here all day myself, and that's Monday to Friday, and then the weekends we're doing stuff. When we're on vacation with our kids, we're doing things. And she's like, why? What is this all about? And I think that I think what I see happening is not what, obviously, look, we're all mad, and I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to let people have a chance to hear from you. I think people are mad, like if they kind of see you as a symbol, man, right? That's a double-edged sword, but you do realize you're in that position, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. I don't look. You can come to me on. Look, y'all see the way I go at these politicians. Mm-hmm. You really honestly think I couldn't snap back at some of these people that are coming at me in the industry? Like, do you really think I don't have the means and ability to do that, to destroy them?
Oh, I absolutely think you could. I think you choose not to.
I choose not to because what does that do for the community? It does nothing. Mm-hmm. It does nothing. So I do a verbal snapback or something creative, and that completely decimates the person. Then what? Mm-hmm. It like we've accomplished nothing except stroking my ego. Mm-hmm. So from that, defending this right, that I don't want to put energy into dealing with somebody who's coming at me sideways, which half the time, which is why I'm kind of dismissive of it. Or I'll shoot a real low key subliminal and then keep it moving. Because as far as I'm concerned, like me going at you and battling does nothing more than set us up to stroke our own egos. Mm-hmm. That's it. And so for me, that does nothing for the right. That does nothing to bring people on board. It's entertaining. People love that. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I see comments like that all the time. Man, what this person's doing is so entertaining. I love seeing the fire. That's so whack.
Yeah.
That's just whack. Like it's just not cool.
Right.
But hey, I don't have a problem. You want to come at me? That's fine. I've stepped into this role. I'm front and center. Bring it. I'm cool with it. My own thing is understand the effect and the ramification it's having on the people who are watching, who are trying to decide whether or not to embrace this right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll take the scars. I'll lick my wounds when I go, at night before I go to sleep, and call it a day, get up and do it all over again. Right. Mm-hmm. That's like my mom says, you made your bed and I'll lay in it.
Right.
And that's what I do every single day. But when it comes to actually protecting the right, that's to me the most important thing. Mm-hmm. I do it my way. Other people do it their way, and let them be. Let them be. Let them protect the right in the way that they do it. Some are more overt than others about it. Some less overt. Let them be.
Yeah. Some have money, some don't have money. Some have a lot of guns, some don't have any guns.
Some don't have a lot of guns. It's weird. I never understood this watching of people's pockets in a community that embraces the ideals of America and capitalism. The only time I see people watching people's pockets like that are people who are inherently socialist and feel that you should be giving your money away to other people, or that it's not fair that they have all of this and you don't. I never understood that.
It's a weird thing. So now let me ask you about this. Let's see. I don't know if we froze up here. I want to make sure that you hear this question. So how does it feel, man? You're out there taking lots of blows, right? From all sides. Mm-hmm. How do the blows from the gun community, from the 2A guys feel? I know you're a tough guy. I know you're macho. People dig that about you. But really, honestly, it's us here, nobody else, just me and you. How does it feel when there's blows getting thrown your way?
Oh, it sucks. It sucks. Because you got to remember, like, if this was just a means to an end for me, I wouldn't care. Like, I don't care. I just go get my bags of money and go to sleep. But I'm passionate about this. So the hardest thing in the world is seeing someone come at me from the industry standpoint and then having to hold my tongue when I know what I'm capable of, and then have to swallow it. Mm-hmm. I just have to swallow it. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, I'll let something loose, and that's just me being human. And then immediately I'm like, man, what did I do? Like, oh, I didn't. Vitriol, toxicness that the other person was spewing at me to begin with. So it does hurt, and I do take it personally to a degree. Mm-hmm. But at a certain point, you kind of have to create a barrier, because if not, it'll drive you crazy. Yeah. People don't understand that. You're a public figure on social media. A lot of people say things like, "Oh, why are you crying about it? Like, you have all of these followers. Why do you even care?" Man, like, you got to remember something. Like, I just saw a question that was funny. Like, if I have 500,000 followers on Instagram, I'll put up a post, mm-hmm. and I didn't buy followers, so my engagement is high. It's super high. So I can get anywhere. Getting 300 to 1,000 comments on a post is nothing. Mm-hmm. So now, if I'm trying to stay engaged with my audience, that means I have to do what? I have to go through some of those comments. Mm-hmm. So now, if I'm going through those comments, I'm good, and most of them are good, but then it's like, you go through the comments.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you froze there. You froze up.
Nope. All right,
this is crazy. Yeah. You said something passionately. It looks like you punched the microphone.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is, if I have 500,000 followers mm-hmm. on Instagram, for instance, right, and I want to stay engaged with my audience, so I'm looking through comments from time to time. Right. And as I'm doing that, the vast majority of them are positive, but then it's like you hit one, boom, that's like one punch to the gut. You see another negative, boom, that's another punch to the gut. You mm-hmm. see another negative comment, boom, that's another punch to the gut. Boom, that's another punch to the gut. I post 5 to 6 times a day just on Instagram. So now if I'm doing that same thing repeatedly over and over again as I'm going through comments, boom, punch in the gut, boom, punch in the gut, boom, punch in the gut. I don't care who you are. If you're in the middle of a boxing ring and everyone there is cheering for you, but you're still getting punched, it's gonna get to you after a while.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But people don't see that. They only see you
It's
lash
more
out.
damaging. It's more damaging.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Without a doubt. That's what people look. I also tell Lola this because I hate to hold my tongue, man. I don't know. Let's see. Did we freeze here? I personally hate to hold my tongue. I think silence is violence. When people, I tell Lola, people. I don't know if anyone realizes this about me, but I actually like to fight. I know it seems like I'm cool or whatever, but I like to fight because I think silence is violence. But how much fighting do we want to do with each other?
Yeah.
But I do think
Wow.
it's tough when you let people just keep hitting you, and you don't say anything, and then people out there just believe what they're saying. Like, hey, this guy's not doing anything. He's not giving money. He's not fighting. I think in your name, people are saying you're not like pushing back on what the NRA is doing. You're not, you're not with us and all this kind of stuff. I know that has to hurt when you know that you are, and that you gave up a lot in order to do this.
It sucks. Again, like I said, I made my bed. Now I have to lay in it, but it does suck. So when I do happen to lash out from time to time, I saw 50 of them, and then all of a sudden that 51 made me go, what the? And it may not even be 50 in the same comment thread. Because you gotta remember, you start taking that stuff in. It could have been a post from 2 weeks ago, but then it's just like it's just after a while, it's just like ugh. And then it's like, and another thing too is like everybody inherently in the gun community is a fighter, right? That's why we embrace the Second Amendment, because we fight for what we believe in. We fight to protect our families. We fight to protect ourselves. And so as a result, we are inherently fighters. So when I get a negative comment or someone comes at me the wrong way, I want to punch back. But I have to restrain myself and and then every once in a while I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And then you just do it. Right. And then you kind of hold back a little bit because you don't want to go full in because you shouldn't be throwing it in the first place. So that's the thing that kind of sucks a little bit.
Yeah, it does. And it's tough when there's folks out there, like I know a new tactic of what's going on now is for folks to go out there and start hitting everyone up. This is my own personal experience. Like there's someone hitting me up and going, yo, you've got an R rate. How come you can't give this much money? And I'm thinking to myself, like, do you even really understand what the hell's going? Like, what are you talking about? Do you know whether or not I'm doing something? On top of that, the things that I have it for my. Do you know how many times I've burnt out doing this? You know how many times I burnt out? And my wife is like, listen, I need you to have something because all you're doing is pouring all your money, your time, your energy into this thing. I need you to have something and know that you have something out there, And that's because, and I get where she's coming from because she's the closest person to me. And she says, you got to have something. But how did we become like a church, man? Even the churches, like I'm not out there flying around in multiple jets and, none of that stuff, man. I'm paying for everything I have and making choices on what I have. And I know there's other people going through that. And it just blows my mind that we're like sticking to that. That's the thing that we want to do. People can't have anything to be in this thing.
Like I remember I have a full blown, I have a video review of the Aston Martin Vantage that I've been sitting on for almost 2.5 months. Just because I'm scared to release it.
Why?
And the reason why I'm scared to release, people don't understand. Like I am probably more into cars than I am guns. Like if this is guns, cars is like right here, right? And I've always been that way. Like cars was always my first passion. So I remember a long time ago, if you go back on my channel, it was almost 5 to 7, 8 years ago on my channel. I did a review. I kind of did a little impromptu review on the Aston Martin DBS. Anyone who knows me in my personal life knows I am obsessed with Aston Martin. I've always been obsessed with that brand.
James Bond? Do you think you're James Bond or something? Yeah.
Do I think I'm James Bond?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm the Black Bruce Wayne.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say Black Superman like Idris Elba. And if you said you are if you said you are James Bond, I was gonna tell you no. Idris Elba is gonna claim that one too. So you better chill.
I'm not. I relate more to Batman and his lifestyle, to be honest with you. Yeah, he's
yeah, it's crazy. A kid actually asked me that today. I don't want to stop your flow, but it was crazy.
No, you're good.
I was in the barbershop today, and this kid asked me that. He was like, "Are you Batman or something? What's up with you?" And it was so funny, you know. It was so crazy. It was like this kid could not be older than 10 years old.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
you know, he was like, "Oh, because you know, I have that car in GTA, some video game. He has that car or whatever." And yeah, man, I can relate to what you're saying. Like, I've always been into certain things in my life. There's things I know about my life. Like, I think women are the most beautiful form of art that exists in the universe. That's what I believe. I've always been into guns, always been into cars. You know, there's just things that, you know, things that make me happy. I'm a passionate person. I live my life based on those passions, you know. So yeah, you were saying about the DBS.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do that, and I remember the funny thing, the background behind that was I literally it was a weekend. This is how lame I am. It was a weekend in Houston, and I said I'm gonna go to the Aston Martin dealership and just dream. That's all. I've always been aspirational. Anytime I saw something that someone had that was better or more than mine, I aspired to it. I was, and I would seek that person out and say, "Yo, if I could, how did you get to the point that you got to? How do I get there?" Right? I'd inquire, and I would always put things in front of me as superficial goals, right? Because it made I remember going to the dealership and I'm like, they're gonna laugh me out of here. I'm just a little black kid who's coming in here with a little handy cam, and I'm like, I just want to walk around and look at the cars. And I went there, and they couldn't have been nicer. And they were like, yeah, they were like, go ahead. The guy actually, he's like, hey, we have some more cars in storage if you want to go take a look at them. He's like, I'll leave you up here, just do whatever you want. I was like, whoa. So I'm sitting here looking at a car that I've dreamed about. Right? Because they don't make very many Aston Martins as a whole, so you don't really see them very often. So I'm looking at this car just like, whoa. You know, I grew up watching them on Top Gear and watching the videos.
Some of the most beautiful cars in the world. They look. It's like women. It's like a super, like Beyonce. I think Aston Martin is like Beyonce.
I wouldn't give her that, but
no. Okay. All right, fine. Okay, what's it like there? Who's out there? No one.
That's crazy. Is another thing. I haven't had a celebrity crush on a chick.
That's all over now for you, huh?
For a little bit.
Yeah, no celebrity crushes. No celebrity crushes.
Right now, there's no one that's really turning my gears like that. I'm trying to think who. There's this one actress. I can't remember her name. She's a super liberal too. Yeah. It's crazy.
For me, it's Angela Bassett. It's always been Angela Bassett for me.
Really?
Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to use my get out, but see, you know, I'm older, so that's, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm an older dude, but yeah, if I had to use my get out of jail free card, you know, with Lola, it would have to be Angela Bassett, because, you know.
I used to be really big on Carucci. And I can't remember the other girl's name. What is her name?
Someone says Aston Martin is like Halle Berry.
I'll give him that.
No, I would say Halle Berry is more of like a Lotus. You know, to me, a Lotus. It's a nice car. It's lightweight and everything, but you know, it's not really. Everything's not real in there. You know what I mean? It's not thick enough. I like my cars with big hips and thighs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Okay, we're getting lost. We're getting lost in this conversation.
Remember her name? Logan. I can't remember her last name. Let me find this girl's name.
Yeah, don't act like you don't have that. You know, on speed dial in your IG.
Logan Loris.
Okay. Now everybody's. Yeah, if IG's working.
No. Logan Browning. That's her name. Okay. Logan Browning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
She's probably super anti-gun too. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, that's a tough thing if you're passionate like this. Like, I would never. Did you ever hear about what Charlize Theron, like the legend of Charlize Theron, that she made Sean Penn like melt down all his guns that he had?
That doesn't surprise me with Charlize Theron.
Yeah, they were gonna get married, but you know, Sean Penn's a gun guy. He had like expensive guns he collected. You know, like very unique guns. And she said, we can't get married unless She wouldn't let him give the guns away. He wanted to give them away or something. She said no, they have to all be destroyed. Then when he destroyed them, she broke up.
That sounds about right for a raging feminist.
Yeah.
You never do it. If you're in a relationship with a feminist, you never actually do what she tells you to do.
No. Yeah. First of all, the things that I'm into, it's not like anyone who's dealing with you has to accept the fact, like Lola knows this about me already. She knows she will forever, until the end of time, be spending money on guns and cars.
Well, look, I mean, the way I approach it, you get what you get. If I look up, you're still there, great. If not, so forth. Like I told you, my life, my foot stays on the gas. So you either keep up or you get left behind. That's just the way I function.
Yeah.
And I function that way with my work, my job, women, relationships, all of it.
Yeah.
So for me,
I think women appreciate that too. I think I think one of the things I have to say, one of the things I have to say to the young dudes out there, maybe they've got relationship issues or whatever. The minute a woman will do a lot of stuff to try to get you to change your mind because she just wants to see if you're changeable. But if you are changeable, she has no respect for you. So I'm not saying to be ignorant or belligerent or anything like that. But if you know you believe in something, don't change that, because a lot of times they're just trying to test you to see, like, oh, let me see how far I could push you and if you're breakable, So
never fail a shit test.
Yeah. So Lola wants to know about the video in the dealership. She says I'm distracting you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
Right.
So I go and I do this kind of walk around describing the Aston Martin DBS, and I'm in awe. Like, you could hear it in the video. I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm just gushing. It was a terrible video, and so and so to Dallas, and I continued on. My love affair with cars continued. I went through a number of different cars. I go through cars like water. It's kind of disgusting, actually, and. At one point, I walk into an Aston Martin dealership, almost doing the same thing that I did at the one in Houston, except now I'm Colion Noir, right? And I walk into the dealership and I'm talking to the guys, and lo and behold, the guys at the dealership,
they know you.
Know who I am.
Oh, yeah. Sookie. Yeah.
Huge gun guys, right? And as a result, they're like, hey, as I developed the relationship over time, like this didn't happen overnight, but as I developed the relationship with them. They were like, hey, look, I guess I'm considered an influencer, right? Aston Martin has a brand that's generally has an optics of being an older brand, right? That skews to an older audience. And, they're trying to kind of reach out to a younger audience. And I'm out here in Dallas living jumping and bouncing to different places. And so, they figured, hey, from time to time, we'll give you a car on the weekend. Just drive around, enjoy it. We just want a presence out there for people to see it, especially in the younger hand.
So loners that you could do videos on.
Exactly, of my fucking dream car.
So where the hell's the videos, man? Where are the videos?
So I dropped the video, and all I got was a bunch of hate. I just got a bunch of people angry, like, oh, this is too rich for my blood, and all this is the NRA money. And I'm like, but it's a loan vehicle. And so it kind of just left a bad taste in my mouth. So I kind of recoiled against it a little bit. And I'm going to drop the video. I was actually going to drop it today, but I might just drop it tomorrow.
Yeah, I would ask you to drop it. When you drop it, tag me. I will definitely do something about it. But I hate the fact that in the gun world, people want us to be monks. I hate that. Yeah. That's socialism, whatever, however you want to paint it. Anyone who's out there thinking that because someone has something doesn't mean they could afford it. I can't freaking afford that Audi that I have. I can tell you that right now. Ask Lola. She'll tell you can't afford that thing. She doesn't know why the dealership gave me the loan. I'm like, because they like me. She thought she was.
You'll do any and everything to pay for it, no matter what.
She thought she was gonna shut me down. She's like, yeah, go ahead. I don't think they're gonna give you that loan. And they gave it to me. I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to sign some paperwork. She's like, what? So the thing is like having to, like, I can't, there's lots of things, if you're passionate about things in life, it drives me crazy that other human beings say you should not be like that. You've got one life that you're living right now. Everything else we'll find out about in the hereafter. Right?
No, you're absolutely right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man, it's go ahead.
yeah, I'm just mad at the people who want to take passion, the same passion that you give to guns and to the Second Amendment and all the things you do. I want to see that in other things because I appreciate that. That might motivate me. That might motivate other people out there. I think it's a powerful thing when I ran into this kid today that was like, damn, this was like blew his mind to think that someone
Yeah.
that looks like him could drive this car or do this thing. That's what we need in life.
Yep. No,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I like I said, I've always been aspirational. That's me. I've always aspired to more. I've always aspired to bigger and better, while at the same time understanding and being appreciative of what I have in the moment.
Yeah.
That's the balance I try to create for myself.
Yeah.
And so it does suck, like that I have to even run this mental filter of should I release this video, or is it's gonna come off? Is it gonna send the wrong signal? Yada yada. Like it's
Live your
bull.
life. Live your life, man. I want you to live your life because your life has phases. There's sections you go through in your life. And when you get older and you find the right person, you settle down, you have kids, you won't necessarily be able to do this thing. But the fact that you did it is a motivation that helps you get to the next phase in your life where you can revisit it. You need to do these things, man. You know.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I'm definitely going to drop the video though. That's for sure.
Yeah. It makes me mad that there's like people in the gun world who feel like they have to subjugate the folks that are creating content for them and stuff like that are helping them, that are notifying them of things and getting out there and fighting with them and going after the politicians and doing all of this stuff. And they're like, no, you have to live like this. You can only have this.
Yeah. No, and that's not checking. I mean, that's borderline socialism.
It is.
And so it's like wait a minute. I thought we were people who value the American ideals. But yeah, it's like any signs of any success is met with, I don't want to say hatred. It's just a certain level of despise. Like it's interesting to me. And I'm just and here I am like a little child. I'm just passionate all the things that I'm into, and so it kind of sucked, but I'm still gonna do it, right? Like I'll drop this Aston Martin Advantage video, and then I'm gonna go and do the new DBS that came out, and then I'm gonna start branching off into other vehicles as well.
I don't care if I see you in a freaking Koenigsegg, man. Okay, I don't care if I see you in a Koenigsegg. I'm gonna be happy for you, and then I'm gonna say, listen, I'm coming by to visit. Yeah. And you better figure out how to borrow that Koenigsegg, or if you own it, you better lend it to me.
Yeah, I have this massive itch. It's like been eating me alive. I want a 991 911 GT3.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I drove one. So what I tend to do sometimes, like what I would do when I would film Noir is we'd usually be out there for about 3 to 5 days, and then if it landed on a weekend, actually 3 or 4 days, and what I'll do is I'll jump on Turo, and then I'll just look for the coolest fun car that I could find, rent that for a day or two, and just drive, right. And so when we did the San Francisco episode, I remember I rented the 911 GT3 for about 2 days. And I went from San Francisco to Santa Cruz, San Jose. I literally took a whole day and just plotted out different places to drive through to make the circle back around. And it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, because I'm in Texas. So I don't get the type of roads that that's conducive to a car like that.
Yeah,
Our roads
you just get
straight.
Yeah, straight flat.
Yeah. And so that's why everything out here is all about horsepower, right? Yeah. As I get older, I don't really care as much about horsepower. I'm more about the experience of driving the car, the dynamics of the car. But when you only have flat and straight, the only thing you really have to go off of is horsepower. But with that car, I'm in the mountains going through the twisties. It was amazing. Loved it. The only thing I wish is that I was able to film it and record it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. GT3 is awesome, man.
It's phenomenal, and to this day, it haunts me. It's like right here, just haunting me. And it's just I'm just not willing to put the money down for it just yet.
Yeah. Listen, here's something that I believe. if it's not painful to make payments on the car or buy the car, it's not worth having.
Touche.
I'm just telling you that. There's some dudes, like, I remember when I got this car that I have, there was some guys that were actually mad at me because I drove it every day. I can't buy this thing and not drive it every day. That doesn't make any sense to me. And they were like, how can you drive this thing every day? That's a travesty. And I was like, okay, you're telling me you would have a supermodel girlfriend, but you're only hitting it on the weekends? That's not,
My friend, that's a very, very good analogy, and I'd have to agree with you on that one because I drive the hell out of my cars.
Yeah, don't get down like that. You get that supermodel girlfriend, you go at it all the time. You take your vitamins. You know what I'm saying? Drink some Guinness Stout. Do whatever you have to do. Handle it.
Oh man,
you know what I'm saying?
But you're right, though, man. I'm of the same way. I am a drive it until it blows. Like my baby girl is my G-Wagon. I have a G63.
Oh, nice.
I love that thing. I drive that thing. I'm driving that thing until it explodes.
Mm-hmm.
It explodes, and I love every minute of it. Even though it's a terrible vehicle, it's absolutely terrible. But I love it.
That's, first of all, I think, look, it's the same thing with guns, right? There's tons of guns out there that people are like, oh, that gun doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I want. I want total nonsense.
Yes, no, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand it, and I'm like, I just love the damn guns. Like I like there's something. There's a quality. There's a certain panache about HKs that call to me. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I haven't really been able to quantify it in words just yet. Mm-hmm. So that's why when I talk about them, it's just this bunch of this blabbering of nonsense, right? But for the aesthetics, the way they feel, just the way they sound, like everything about them just does something. Now, that doesn't mean I look at any other gun and I go, poor people. Like
no, not at all.
Because what it allows me to do is when I see somebody else just as passionate about a different type of gun, I can appreciate that because I'm like, I know how I feel about this particular gun. Mm-hmm. The only thing that sucks for me is like I don't know what to take to the range, so I end up taking up too much crap that I never even actually get to shoot.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad thing.
Man, okay. I'm gonna say this, and I wouldn't change anything. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you better enjoy your firearms when you have limited options. Okay. Because what ends up happening is you turn into a child, right? Mm-hmm. And all you end up doing is getting bored is the wrong word. You just want to jump to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, without really truly enjoying. So for instance, this is going to be a weird analogy, but I'm known for my weird analogies. So I was over with my business partner's house, and there's a young lady who works with us, and she's on the couch and she bought this cookie, right? Mm-hmm. She bought this cookie, and I'm a sweets guy, right? I love to eat cakes, cookies, candy, you name it, it's bad.
Not gonna argue that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's evident, self-evident.
So I'm sitting here. We're on the couch and we're talking about different video ideas that I'm going to put together. Store, things like that. So we're going over all this and I'm watching her and I'm like, I look over 15, 20 minutes later, she still has the cookie. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why are you eating the cookie so slow? Because in my mind, when I get a cookie, it's gone in 10 seconds. There's
cookie monster.
Right? Yeah. If I can breathe, then I take long.
Yeah, get in my belly.
Right. And she looked at me and she goes, "Well, no, Colin." She's like, "I love cookies," and she's like, "I want to savor it. I want to enjoy it for as long as possible."
Right.
And in that moment, I looked at her and I was like, damn it, I want what she has. Yeah. Because me, I just eat one cookie, go to the next, and then as soon as I'm done, I want more.
Yeah. Well, see, that's a huge difference. This is what makes women awesome, and most of us dudes terrible. We want all the cookies. And a woman could appreciate one cookie. We want all cookies. You know, this is our problem. This is also why some women become lesbians, because only other women understand that you got to take your time to eat the cookie.
You know, that's a good point. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
So it's not a bad analogy.
She looked at me like I was crazy. She was like, I want to enjoy the cookie. And I'm like, but I want all the cookie.
Yes. I want to gorge myself on everything, but that's what I do. I'll eat stuff until I can't stand the sight of it anymore.
Yep. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. That's also how we get diabetes.
Yeah, and then, as you get older, that's not actually a good. When you're young and your metabolism is fast, it's all good, man. Yeah. So that's the one thing. Guns are 0 calories.
That is very true.
They do help you burn calories.
Yeah.
But they are 0 calories. But I know what you're saying. Like, I have guns that there's first of all, I'm into bullpups, right? And there's like, I'll just buy if I have the money. If I don't have the money, obviously, but if I have the money, I'll buy a bullpup, and then it'll sit there for a long time, and my friends are shooting it. And they're like, how come there's no video on this bullpup?
Dude, I have so many guns I haven't done videos on. Like I just bought the bolt action from Modern Outfitters yesterday. That I just bought home. And the weird thing is, the one thing I will say is that I love about this. My love affair for firearms hasn't wavered one bit. The passion and the love I have, the same way I go and I sit down and I pick up a gun. Like, I haven't picked this thing up in a couple weeks. I picked it up the other day and I was like, God damn, this thing's beautiful. Even though I got a lot of hate when I did the video on this gun.
What's this gun that we're looking at here? Modified Glock?
The Colion Arms.
Colion Arms, okay.
Yeah, and a lot of people who hated me because this was the RTF2 with the scallop with gun, and I was like, because I wanted to make it more uniquer.
Okay.
And so, and for me, like, I still look at these things the same, and it's like I pick up guns, and it's just I love them, right?
Yeah. I was mad when I saw that you had that. When I saw that you had the Silencer Co., which I like to call Silencer Co., but they don't want to hear that because I didn't bring mine in, and I'm like, damn, Cone's gonna show his. He's gonna show his.
Yeah, no, I don't have any kids, so I just have guns laying everywhere.
Yeah,
like I literally, they're everywhere, and I have like 5 safes. Yeah. That's just one of like 5.
Yeah, I have kids. But I got guns laying everywhere too, man. I just taught them to stay the hell away from my guns.
And the funny thing is, I know a lot of people like that. They're like, and their kids grow up to be actually pretty damn good about that.
Yeah, I mean, my boys are like 19 and 20 now, but
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
But yeah, you can ask them. They grew up with guns everywhere. So, yeah. Let's see. There's a bunch of things going through here. Let me see. I'm trying to see what.
Somebody asked me if I had a high point.
Yeah, I think people want you to discuss the yeet cannon. I see folks out there keep saying, "Ask him about the yeet cannon." What do you think?
I'm gonna be honest. Because I've been so ingrained in the political, so like if anybody who really follows my page closely, my content goes in waves. So like now, since we're in a really deep political season, they're gonna get more political commentary videos. After that, they're gonna be way more gun review videos. So my mindset is like I'm constantly having to flip. That's the one benefit some other channels have. They can kind of stay in one mode. I'm constantly having to flip, and in doing so, like it takes a lot of research. Looking up that, and that's the thing I hate about the other side. They can just throw shit out there. Right? I got to go through systematically, read, research, figure this out. All right, is that stat right? Is that one right? Okay, cool.
Are you saying you don't know about the yeet cannon? Is this your way of telling me you don't know what a yeet cannon is?
I know I'm aware of the whole debacle and everything that's going on, but I'm not intimately familiar with it.
Oh, okay.
So for me, yeah. So I'm like,
you're better off. You're better off. I'm sick and tired. At this point in my life, I don't want to hear yeet cannon anymore, people. It's totally. Listen, it's cool. It's a cool thing. High Point broke the internet with it. Whatevs. And I like High Point. What do you think about High Point? What's your?
I don't have a problem with any gun, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Have you ever shot High Points?
It's kind of like I have a video of me shooting High Points. I look at guns the way I look at music, different gun brands the way I look at music, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fanatical Future fan. Like I
Oh, you
listen
like
to
Future? Okay.
Oh my God, it's kind of sickening.
Really?
And like to a point where like I think my last relationship. The thing is, people
Wait,
misconstrue,
hold
like,
on. I
how can you
missed
listen
that.
to
I
this
missed that
crap?
part. You froze. You said something about your last relationship.
I said I'm pretty certain my last relationship in part fell because of my obsession with listening to Future, because
Oh,
she
really?
hated it.
Okay.
Yeah, to a degree.
Okay.
But I look at guns the same way I look at music. People ask me, how can you listen to that garbage? I'm like, well, you got to put it in its proper place.
Mm-hmm.
When am I listening in the future? Right? Sometimes I want to hear ignorant. Sometimes I just want a beat. Sometimes I want the lyrics. It just depends on my mood.
Yeah. Sometimes
And
you need
so
to be numb.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, with respect to High Point, I look at them and I say it's an entry level gun that is designed for a specific type of consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Is it for me? Well, I bought one, so I guess you could say
Every gun guy should own one, just like they say every car guy should own a Fiat, or there's other cars out there. Like every car guy should own this car. I think every gun guy should own a High Point. Why not?
no. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I don't shoot it. It shoots terribly, if you ask me. And that's just the truth. But then again, I'm also spoiled for choice, right? So it's hard for me it's hard for me to really bring myself down to really see it for what it is. Sometimes it's a little hard for me to, like, and so I actually have friends to keep me grounded in the gun space, because I'm fortunate to have access to a ton of different guns. But what I cannot afford to do is get so far away and so far removed from how I started, in terms of the back in the days when I could barely afford to buy one gun. Right. And because so many people look to me for my advice towards different guns, I have to maintain a certain perspective so that I can give it to them fairly, because otherwise it'll just be a miss. I'm useless. When I look at something like the High Point, I have to frame it under the guise of, all right, who's the type of person that this gun will benefit? Well, somebody who's extremely limited on resources.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So then what we start talking about is, okay, well, what other guns can fall into that space under the same price point that may be better at being an entry level, low income gun versus, say, just a High Point. And so that's the kind of things I try to keep in perspective.
That's what I think the High Point represents. It represents freedom. One of the ways that they're going to block freedom, like what we see happening in California with the ammunition background checks, right, is by making it unaffordable. So people don't. Yeah.
No, I was saying I was actually working on a video last night in response to the California ammo thing. There's just more research that I have to do to make sure I have all my facts straight.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally agree.
Yeah. What do you see? What do you want to say? I mean, I know you're working on that thing. What's your quick take on what's going on in California?
All it is, to be honest with you, the way I look at it, it's California's solution to everything is more taxes. And all this is, this is not a gun, this is not an ammo background check. It's an ammo tax. That's what it is. And so it's designed to make the bar of entry to gun ownership so arduous and so expensive, period. As they say, war of attrition, little by little, to the point where it's just like, I'm not even going to bother anymore, right? But the irony is, it's like, all you're going to do is you're going to force people to buy ammo out of state. Even though I think even if you buy out of state, you have to send it to an FFL dealer and then get a background check to pick it up. But it's not going to stop crime, considering all the criminals are going to do is buy it out of state.
Yeah, if you follow laws, I mean,
like, and think about it. Like, guns are exceedingly more restricted than ammo, and yet they still get their hands on guns like it's nothing. So you think it's going to be harder for them to get their hands on ammo?
Yeah, I don't think they understand the definition of a criminal. This is the thing. Like, you're punishing the law-abiding people because you're trying to get to criminals, which we know is disingenuous. It's not really
Absolutely.
true. Yeah. Let me see. Lola wants to know what gun you're rocking here. I'm guessing, I hope, because she's bringing me little Post-it notes. What gun are you rocking? I know we saw that Glock. We saw the Silencer Co. Maxim 9.
Airy?
Yeah.
So my concealed carry pieces I've been floating back and forth between about 5 of them. My main one, the one I carry the most, is my Glock 26.
Okay.
That's the gun I carry the most. I carry that with the Terran Tactical base plate that I can actually fit 13 rounds in, and still smaller than a 19. And I also that 43, the 6-hour P365. I've started carrying the HK VP9.
Okay.
HP30 SK, because I may or may not be coming out with a VP9 SK version of the Advocate.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, and once we get that squared away from an engineering standpoint, that's going to become my main carry.
Okay.
So I'm just getting used to carrying it at this time. And I think the other gun is, and then sometimes depending on what I'm wearing, I'll carry my Advocate.
Okay. All right. How's the Advocate going? I know that's your gun that you developed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So far so good. Everything's going good. Sales are pretty continuous and consistent. It's interesting. Like, I went to at the Aston Martin dealership that I have the relationship with the guys with. They called me and they was like, "Hey, we're gonna have a happy hour here. We want you to come over. There's a guy here who bought your gun."
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, and it's a guy from the UK. Like, he moved from the UK.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Super wealthy, good. Super. And you come over and just sign it for him. I was like, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I get those sometimes, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just seeing people buying something that you put your heart into is pretty dope.
Yeah. Let me see. I got a bunch of different questions coming in here. I know someone wants me to ask you, what's your personal feelings on the movement, the hashtag Wayne must go? Do you have an opinion on that one?
As far as that's concerned, there needs to be a change. What that change is, I'm not exactly sure. I'm hopeful for what it looks like when the dust settles.
Okay.
I don't know what that looks like, though.
Okay.
And for me there's so much I don't know, but I think I know.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
I think so. I think
because there are a number of theories behind a lot of the issues. I don't know which side to believe. Right? So what I end up doing is taking the easy route and saying, I'll just let them figure that out.
Yeah. What would you like to see if you?
I'm admitting I'm
right.
taking the easy way.
Right.
Because it's just otherwise, like, I don't have the time. Like, I just, like I said, foot on the gas. I just want to go. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I do.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't think you should allow yourself to be in limbo. And I think that I think the community in general out here, we were talking about the community earlier, and this is something I did want to say. I want to tell you that what we're talking about is the people out there that are creating problems right now is a small percentage of the community. I think
Absolutely.
people at large would like to see you doing well. They would like to support you, and they would, be happy to do what they can do to help you out if you're like, hey, I'm going to do this thing. I don't know what's in your future right now. I don't know if you know it, but I think folks out there will be happy to help you out. I don't think we want to lose you in the community is what I'm trying to say.
No, and here's the thing. Like, a lot of stuff I said is I'm on my soapbox, right? Because to be honest with you, a lot of stuff I don't have an outlet for it. So, but by and large, 90% of what I deal with is positive. Like, there are people in this community that are awesome. The support I get is awesome. Sometimes it overwhelms me because it's like, I don't even know how to respond to this because it's so awesome. And I can't, to be honest with you, I think that's what keeps me going. Withstanding all of the other BS that may be going on, is that support is so dope. It overwhelms me sometimes.
Yeah. When I see it, I mean, I know that you're seeing it a lot. I see it with you. Like, I know when I see you, if I stop you somewhere, it usually creates a crowd. If I'm standing in that crowd by myself, everybody's like, can you get the hell out of the way? But if I
Yeah, no.
if I stop you and I see it, I see little old white ladies, you know. I see everyone in the community. I see people of color, all kinds of people. Like, wow, you know, they like to see that you're a real dude walking around there. You know, I think that's the thing that we have to try to focus on, and that we have to try to live with. That, hey, most of the folks out here want us to do this, and they support it, and they want us to be happy, and you know, all of that kind of good stuff.
Absolutely, man. And I think it's awesome. You know, 12, 13 years ago when I first shot my first gun, I didn't expect all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to go be a lawyer somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it grew into something that, like, every day I'm like, damn, like this is I mean, a lot to me, because it's not that I'm just this amazing, awesome person that has this incredible talent. It's I did something that people could relate to,
Mm-hmm.
and so and they attach themselves to it, and I kind of use that as fuel to kind of keep pushing through everything, whether it be, you know, the kind of current flux that we're in right now with respect to the state of NRA and so forth and so on, and then what we're dealing with in terms of anti-gunners trying to take away this right that is so important for many reasons, and that you and I and everybody else in the gun community have such a passion for. Like, for me, coming up in the YouTube space, man, that was like a little family for me. You know, like all of us, like, you know, like Mac, Hickok 45, even Yankee Marshall. You know, there were a lot of people who Such, you know, like it was like a little community. And I was going through something. I was really dark, and it got me through it. And I still look to those days. That's why me and Tim are still friends to this day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no matter what happens in terms of this issue or that organization, me and Tim will always be friends, because, you know, like we all grew together in this space.
Yeah, and he's a good dude, man. He's passionate, and that's what I enjoy about him. But you know, he, like, passion is a double-edged sword, you know. But he, you know, and he might get real fired up about something. But he's a good. I'll tell you what makes him a man, in my opinion. When he gets fired up about something, but he realizes, hey, you know what? I think I went a little bit too far here, or whatever. He'll be the first one to reach out to you.
That's the one thing I will give Tim. He will always have my respect, always, because when at the heat of the bump stock debacle, when everyone, I'm talking about, man, I had never seen so much hate. I remember even Tim was going hard, and I remember periodically Tim would call me. He's like, "Yo, what's going on, man?" He's like, "I just want to let you know, no matter what, I have my misgivings with the NRA and so forth, but you and I we're good." And he's like, "If there's any issue you have with anything I say, just let me know, and we can talk about it." And I have nothing but respect for him with respect to that. Nothing but respect. Me and Tim have had long conversations about our different perspectives on certain issues, and to be honest, it's like at that point, like what am I going to say to the guy? He handled himself like a man, you know, and he showed and he had respect for me, so I have no choice but to give that same respect back.
Yeah, that's a very important thing in life, man. You have to, people always told me, like, a real friend out there is worth their weight in gold. You know, there's lots of people that pretend to that, but that's not what this is all about. And one of the things I want to say, I don't know if we could talk about this because it's one of the taboos, so I'm going to try to hit it here and then move on to some other stuff. One of the taboos in the gun community that I find is talking about the black thing. I don't know if you've run into this,
So what say that again? You broke up for a little bit.
The black thing, quote unquote.
In case people wondering why I keep playing with my contacts are acting crazy, so that's why I keep messing with my eyes, so you know.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so one of the things I've found is, like, you almost can't talk about being who you are, and about, like, for me, I'm a black person. That's what people see when they see me. It's what I see when I look in the mirror. It's what I am. It's the skin I wake up in every day. I know that you're going through that same thing, and it's kind of weird. Like, no one wants you to talk about it, The thing I would say is that one of the major reasons why I'm doing this is other people like me, starting with my brother, asked me to do this. You know, they were like, listen, you believe in this, you have the passion, you have the skills, the tools, you need to go out there and do this. And it would be horrible for me to do what I'm doing and pretend like this is not the skin I wake up in every day. How does that kind of stuff affect you? How does that kind of stuff
So
affect you? I have a feeling that you're going through those same things.
yeah, I did, and I have since the very beginning. Like when I first started off on YouTube, I got nothing but racism
Mm-hmm.
in the comment section. It was pretty funny, and I was fresh, so I had all the energy in the world to go back to go toe to toe with the trolls.
Mm-hmm.
I think what has happened is there's a large swath of people in the gun community who are the antithesis of the kind of stereotypical representation of the white racist people that a lot of the left likes to shout. However, unfortunately for people like you and I, there are those people out there, and we have to experience them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think what tends to happen sometimes is when we talk about it, there are people there are people in the community who think that it's an indictment on them.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, all we're doing is just expressing our conditions and the experiences that we have
Mm-hmm.
from ultra right wing conservatives, and then racism from ultra left wing leftists. And so
Mm-hmm.
there's a dynamic there, and there's a dynamic there that is always going to be in play based on this. There's always. And so now, is it a crutch for me? Do I see myself as a victim? Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to sit there and ignore reality either, and think that, okay, no, this is not happening at all, and it's very absolutely happening to me based on my skin color in that respect. But at the same time, I've had experiences to the contrary. Like I tell people all the time, like I've had situations, I've been pulled over by a cop that I'm like, this dude looks like he's going to shoot me.
Right, right.
Only to end up on the side of the road talking
Mm-hmm.
to him about guns for the next 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And so, but the problem with that is we don't just get it from the non-blacks in the gun community. We even get it from our own people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now what ends up happening is, for instance, let's take these police shootings, right? If a police shooting happens and I stop and I say, I want to wait for all the facts so I can get a better perspective, and I'm going to look at this objectively. And all of a sudden I'm labeled a coon and Uncle Tom because I didn't come out full swinging, ranting and raving about how all cops are racist and pigs and they should all die.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I can't do that,
It's not true.
Honestly,
Yeah.
exactly. My experiences have shown me it's not true. My observation of other people's experience show me that that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Does it happen? Does that exist? Absolutely.
That's
But
life.
that's why I take
Yeah.
each case individually.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost a kind of quadruple consciousness that you kind of have to have, because there are a lot of people that look like me that just won't associate with me whatsoever just because of the whole NRA thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so from that perspective, it's kind of like I'm not going to prove to you how black I am, but at the same time, I still want you to embrace this right. All right,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring you. Talk me, hash it out, have that conversation. I'm not going to sit here and try to prove to you how black I am. I'm just not going to do that because I don't feel like I need to.
If you have to
But-
prove it, then you're already in trouble.
Pretty much. But
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. It's a dynamic that when we do speak on it, I only ask that you understand that it's not an indictment on you. It's merely addressing a situation or an issue that does very much exist.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because there are people out there like that, and we have to encounter them. You're not going to encounter them because you don't look like us.
Right. This is
we-
the reality of how we live. Like you were saying, when you get, I know I got pulled over and I threw up the video. What people don't realize is in that sheriff's department, there was a white guy who was in that department, and he told me, okay, they did this to you because of your color, your skin color. Mm-hmm. And here's what I want you to do. You can get the video. I want you to put it out. I didn't want to put the video out.
Yeah.
But he was like, I think you need to, because this is a thing that's repeatedly happening. Just to explain it really quick, there's like a family. There was a black family that has this big party every year, and they kind of shut down things, and people that come in create lots of problems. So the sheriff's department reacts to that, and how they react to it is just anyone they catch going up and down that road, which is like a main road. That's black. They pulled him over, which is
Gotcha.
not the way to react to it. And this guy wanted me to do something. It's a white guy.
Yeah.
You know, and he's
Yeah.
like, no, I want you to do something. I know this is going to be uncomfortable, but you're the person to do something. So this is why this goes both ways, and people need to understand that, you know, that this is a thing that we do have to discuss. It's who we are, and you know, there's many sides to this thing. On top of the fact that I see folks out there all the time that appreciate us doing what we're doing, and not just representing Americans or the gun community, the Second Amendment as a whole, but specifically telling people that look like us, you can come out of the closet and admit that you believe in guns, you believe in the Second Amendment, you know, because we did it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I remember if I had let my preconceived notions dictate my actions, I don't think I would be where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that, like, for instance, like, I remember the first shooting competition that I went to. I did an IDPA shooting competition. And I was terrified to go because I was like, I'm going to be out here in the backwoods and there's going to be all these racist white people and they're going to hang me. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm going to shoot a couple of them.
They're going to go. They're going to go deliverance on you.
And I was so wrong.
Yeah.
I was so wrong. I was embarrassed. Right? They were so helpful. They were so happy to see me there. We were from totally different worlds.
Yeah.
But
country people are good people. Country people are good people. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And our differences weren't really because of our skin color. It was because of our upbringing. I'm a city kid. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
And you know, a lot of people it's only purely based on my skin color. It's just cultural, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember leaving that day feeling guilty, like, don't ever do that again. Mm-hmm. Don't ever have preconceived notions about people ever again. Take them one at a time, take them as they come. And then at that point, you make an assessment based on what they show you from a character standpoint. Mm-hmm. And that is not a very popular belief to be held in a lot of our spaces in the communities that you and I are a part of. And it's almost seen as being an apologist. And that's not the case. What the case is because I've had people that look like me treat me like shit. Mm-hmm. I had people like me betray me. People like look like me hurt me. Mm-hmm. So my only conclusion is I take people one at a time, right? Yeah. I don't have any preconceived notions. You show me who you are, and I'll believe you.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, look, I know it's uncomfortable. I get it. I have lots of friends out there, and I understand why it's an uncomfortable thing. And I agree with you, man. I've seen people of all colors, you know, get along, treat each other good, and then the same thing. A lot of times, it's always people that look exactly like you that are trying to tear you down and destroy you. That's what we see all over the world. Same thing, all colors. You know, you'll see everyone in Russia trying to like take out other Russians, or you know, you'll see that all over the world. But I think it's important for us to talk about these things so that the people out there that this might be a barrier that's holding them back. Mm-hmm. You know, they can see that. See, you know, because you lived it and you experienced it. Yeah. Therefore, you're responsible to get out there and let people know this is not really true. People aren't going to really go. There's a likelihood that someone might go deliverance on you. I don't want to say there's zero deliverance likelihood, but for the absolute most part, you know, most people in the gun community as a whole, man, like I find them. Lola is always surprised how I'll go anywhere. Like I'll go anywhere in the country that I have no idea where I'm at, and I'm just talking and hanging out to people, and she's like, "This is, you know, this is crazy." I'd be like, "Yeah, but I know something about these guys. They're gun guys." You know? Yeah. And that's the common thing. But if we don't talk about it, even though it's embarrassing and it hurts some people, like, okay, why do we have to talk about it? We do have to talk about it so that we can move through it. We can't just like ignore it and pretend that it doesn't exist. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's how we get through it. All right, I want to get some things here. So if you don't mind,
can I make one point real quick?
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I gotta do a humble brag because I glanced over at the chat and I saw some people blaming the internet connection on me. Somebody said my crappy computer. My computer is not crappy, okay?
Oh boy.
I'm on a 5G Wi-Fi connection symbol. I wish I was on Ethernet because then I could really make my.
Yeah, you're on Wi-Fi, man. So don't even start that conversation. I'm hard lined in. You're on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi means nothing.
I have fiber wire.
What? You're still on Wi-Fi, dude. Yeah, see? And then the thing freezes. Wi-Fi is limited. If you're not hardwired plugged in, you got nothing to say. No. Listen, I think it's a good conversation regardless of what's going on. There's a couple of things. Okay, so I just got a thing here. People say, there's some folks out there saying, I hope that we can still have a voice like you. You've been a voice on like Hannity, Joe Rogan, Bill Maher, and all that kind of stuff. Maybe there's some people concerned about that. What do you say to that?
Don't worry. There's no, in the words of a good friend of mine, there are no showstoppers where we're going. As far as I'm concerned, we are going to be fighting this as well and as well as possible. And I get tired, but then I don't get tired of doing this. Mm-hmm. And what I think there is a shift that's happening. It's kind of quiet, and right now it's being drowned out by a lot of noise. I think we'll find we're in a good place. Not in a perfect place, not in an ideal place, but in a place that can give us grounding to really kind of start fighting this from the perspective that I think we need to.
Yeah,
I'm pretty hopeful.
Yeah. Also, by the way, just on behalf of me, man, if there's something that you know you need to do and you don't have the resources to do it, you do need to reach out to the community, reach out to someone, me, other folks, whatever. Don't not do that thing because you don't feel like you have the resources. Maybe I'm not even maybe, we will figure out some way to help you do what needs to be done.
Absolutely.
That's what I feel about that.
I'm glad you said that out loud because I will take you up on that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. If you need something to get done and you don't have the backing for whatever reason to do it, let us know. We will figure that out. We'll make it happen. Okay, I think that's really important. Someone wants to ask this question: would you consider being an advocate for the GOA? Did you get that? Did you get that?
Say that again. You broke up.
Yeah. Would you consider being an advocate for the GOA?
That actually almost happened at one point. Quite as kept, they didn't really want anything to do with me. So that was really, really kind of really earlier on. So I mean, I'm not against the idea. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go in the fight where I think I'm best suited to do it. That's going to put me in a position to be the most effective. So okay. I'm not against anything at this point.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. If you need to have some contacts over there or whatever, listen. I see people echoing my sentiment. I think if there's something out there that needs to be done, you've been put into this position that lots of people know you, and regardless of what happens, they're going to go after you or whatever, or they might request for you to come in and have something to say. So I think like affiliations don't mean anything. You're in the gun community.
Absolutely.
You know. So whatever it is, whoever it is you're rocking and rolling with, it's all good. I don't know if we've got like 8 minutes here. So if people have questions, or if you have things you want to answer. Look, I want to show you something. This is the only thing I have to show off because I always have it. Do you know what this is?
No.
You don't know what this is?
Is that like a game? What's that called? The Switchback?
Yes. But here, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to open this and show you what I have in there. This is what I have in mind.
Okay. All right. Okay.
This is something that I got that I can show off to you right now.
I'm not gonna lie, you gotta caught me off guard right now.
That's what I'm talking about. Goes right in this bag. I'm just saying this is the full conceal. This is the full conceal Glock 19 with a 33 round magazine for the people listening on audio.
Wow.
They can't see. Boom.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, and I actually carry this with me all the time, man. It's in my backpack, or I just take it, throw it in the car or whatever. So when I'm rolling around, I have stuff, I always have something on me as well.
Just gave me a new idea.
Yeah. Just give me some credit for it, you know what I'm saying? Because
I will. If I do a video on it, I'm gonna let the world know. I got this from Hank Strange.
Yeah, let's see. Someone says it's a brony bag. I did have a My Little Pony thing that I did, but I got rid of that. It wasn't quite like up to macho-ness. Lola made me buy that from Walmart. Richard Hughes wants to know what's your favorite gun. Let's get some of those questions in, guys. We'll do a lightning round.
That is such an asshole question. Do you know how hard it is for me to say what my favorite?
Okay.
I'm gonna be a loser and say it's the Advocate.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. Can't hate on you for that. Let me see here. I'm gonna ask you something. Here's a question that I thought in my brain, not related to guns. Who do you think out there would you say is the most underrated rapper out there that people don't even know that guy exists right now?
Hold on, you broke up. Say it again.
Yeah, who would you say is a underrated rapper that people don't really know about that's flying under the radar?
Ooh. I listen to so much trash rap. It's hard to say.
Okay.
I can't think of anyone.
Okay.
Because here's the reason why. Like for instance, one of the people that came to my mind was Gunna.
Okay, Gunna. Okay.
Gunna's trap. So it's kind of hard to say he's underrated because he's a mumble rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like for me, in lane and space, I think Gunna is underrated. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I'm with mumble rap. I like it. I'm kind of old school. I'm gonna say Partisan Fontaine. You ever heard of him?
Nuh-uh, I haven't.
Partisan Fontaine. Okay, have you heard of Cardi B? Are you team Cardi or are you team what's the name of the other one? Nicki Minaj. Which team are you on? You're gonna have to answer.
I don't have anything against any of them. I don't really listen to their music. Now I will say this: every once in a while, Cardi will hit a verse, and I'm like, whoa.
Okay,
that was kind of
yeah.
So so there's that.
So that's why I'm asking you, because Partisan Fontaine is the guy who does a lot of the writing for Cardi B. That's who writes her stuff.
Okay, well,
yeah.
He's doing a good job because there are times I'm like,
oh, he's strong. Okay. Yeah. So look up a song. There's a song with Cardi B and Partisan Fontaine called "Backing It Up." Yeah, you should check that out. I think Partisan Fontaine has some skills. I'm from the old school, so I actually went to high school with the old school rapper Father MC, but I grew up in the '80s, so I'm like LL Cool J, all that. I'm lyrical. I'm the lyrical kind of dude.
So yeah, I'm a mood kind of guy. Like it's whatever energy the music is giving me is what I'm going to vibe off of.
Yeah, I like all kinds of stuff. Okay, let's see. Did anyone come up with any other questions here? I don't know. Okay, Special K says Lamborghini or McLaren. I'm going to say Koenigsegg.
I'm going to say 177.
Oh, 177.
The Aston Martin 177.
Oh, the Aston Martin. Okay. All right.
They only made 77 of them, and I think they're like $2 million. But if I have to live with either the what was it again?
What was it, Lambo or McLaren?
McLaren. I'm probably gonna go Lambo. I did a video for my my Advocate. I did. I rented a Lamborghini Huracan.
Yeah, Huracan.
For the video.
Yeah.
And I love that thing.
I would say Lambo also, and I'll tell you why. Because it's an Audi.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, end of story.
I'm not gonna lie, the Huracan felt like I was driving a souped-up Audi R8.
Yeah, it is. It's the same engine and all that kind of stuff. So, McLarens are cool. I like McLarens. They're really cool, but they burn down a lot. So,
yeah. There's a my level of Spartan interior stops at Porsche. I think there's a clinicalness to the McLarens that kind of leave me wanting a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't give me that kind of raw excitement. Now I haven't driven a lot of them, but from what I have experienced, it's kind of it's cool.
Yeah. So here, someone wants to.
In Dallas, there are a ton of them.
Yeah. So Kentucky's native says, "Have you shot the CMMG MK47?" Okay. Jason St. Pierre says, "A pity you were never on Top Gear or Grand Tour. You might still get on Grand Tour."
Don't tell me with a good time.
Huh?
Don't tip me with a good time.
I mean, they kind of retired. They kind of retired, but they're still doing videos, and they do like guns. They do like guns.
Yeah, see, that's the thing though, because you put me on that show, I'm gonna bring the.
Yeah.
Element that I did my videos. You put me on their show, I'm going to bring the gun side of it into the car world.
Yeah.
So don't take it a good time.
Let me tell you something. If you ever do get on Grand Tour, I will be your assistant. Just tell them this guy's my assistant. Yeah.
For sure. No.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
you
I
can be
will
perfect.
actually work as your assistant. I will take notes. I will get you coffee. Whatever it is. I just want to like hang out. I love Jeremy Clarkson, James May, Richard Hammond. Those are my boys.
Yeah. People don't realize Jeremy is a brilliant writer.
Yeah.
Like he's a phenomenal writer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I draw a lot of inspiration from
Yeah.
Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah, and he keeps tweaking those shows.
Yeah.
BWE Firearms says, "What's your favorite subgun?"
Ooh.
Favorite subgun. Oh.
Ooh. Oh man,
Is it an MP5?
It's a battle between my Zenith MP5 and the SIG MPX.
Okay. It's a battle?
Close.
Really? Okay. All right. Opt out of gun control says Civic or Focus, but I'm sure he's being funny.
Wait, what?
He says Civic or Focus. Which one would you?
Civic. I had a Civic in high school.
Yeah, I've had a Civic. Yeah, I'm a Honda guy. I've had several Hondas. I've had a Honda Civic, Honda S2000, which is badassery.
Yeah, they are.
Yep. And I had a Honda Prelude. But I think
man, love the Preludes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I used to love the Prelude.
Yeah, the Prelude's but I would probably say Focus though, right? Because I think you can get like the Focus. They kind of put a lot more stuff into the Civic. You can get a Type R or whatever, and it's cool. Yeah. But the Focus, I think you can get the Focus all-wheel drive. I'm sorry, I'm all-wheel drive. So
there's a feminine quality to the Civic that I can never quite shake. So I probably would do.
Yeah. Lots of people are throwing out car stuff here. Let's see. People are talking about music. Lots of music. I like all kinds of music. Yeah.
Y'all gonna make me throw out this Aston Martin video tonight.
Yeah, throw it out. Put it out. Yeah, are you gonna put it out tonight? Or when are you putting this out?
I might put it out tonight. I'm supposed to go watch fireworks, but I think I might put it out tonight.
Okay, put it out tonight. I'll be on the lookout for it, or tag me or something. Someone wants me to ask you about watches. I don't see any watch on the wrist. I don't know.
No, right now I'm a watch guy, but I'm not a watch connoisseur because the watches that I would love are way too expensive for me to afford, and then I wear the same watch. So because I run around in sweats a lot, I'm usually just wearing an Apple Watch. But for the most part, I have two Rolexes. I have a Rolex Submariner, and then I have a Rolex Datejust. So the Submariner is kind of like my daily, and then my Datejust is kind of like going out for the night.
Yeah, every day. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were rocking a watch, what would you have? I've got this Tudor Black Bay Bronze.
If I were say that again.
This is if you were rocking a watch, which one would it be? I've got a Tudor Black Bay Bronze. That's what
I've always wanted a Rolex Presidential with the black face.
Okay. So then here
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, Presidential with the black face. Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you this: AP or Patek?
I appreciate Patek. They're a little too subtle for my style, so I'll probably go AP.
Okay, yeah. I like the old school industrial look. For anyone, I don't know if people know what we're talking about.
I see the beauty in Patek, right? Like Patek Philippe they make beautiful watches. They're just a little too understated for my style.
Oh, okay. You're saying understated? I think they're too refined. I like the brute savagery.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, of an AP. So Brian Quick keeps asking about Billy Ocean. He says, will Colin just put Billy Ocean Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car? He says, can you just put Billy Ocean's Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car in the video? No. People do want to see this. People do want to see this video, so I'm going to encourage you to put that video up there.
I'll drop it tonight.
Yeah. How long is it? How long is the video?
It's like 7 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. All right.
Yeah. Hold on. It's like no. I think it might be longer. It might be 7 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then by the way, let's see. All right, 7 minutes. Yeah. So throw it up tonight, and then we could,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll throw it up there.
Yeah, you guys can, I know there's people jumping in now. You guys can watch the replay. Here's what I'll do, man. I'll ask Colin to come back, and we'll do this again when the internet's not broken or whatever it is that's going on here. We'll get
my computer.
Yeah, okay, fine. Whatever. I have no idea what it is, but we'll do it. We'll do it again. Okay, so before we get out of here, man, what would you like the folks out there to do? How can they support you? What can the people out there do to help you out right now?
So the biggest thing that people can do is I make my videos specifically for people to take them and share them with people who don't agree with you. So you can say, here, watch this. And I try to purposely keep them to a certain length because I know people who don't agree with us aren't going to watch a 20-minute video. So share. That's one of the biggest things. I do have a subscription, supporters subscription thing on Facebook that you can join as well. But for the most part, share. That's the thing. Share the message, spread it far and wide, not just mine, but everyone's, whether it be your message, anyone else in the gun industries, any influencer in the industry that's two-way, just share. Because right now we're battling a behemoth of a media around. The only way we fight this is with information. And the only way we do this is by sharing the content that we all make.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're working against the algorithm, which is pretty strong. Okay, someone wants to know what's your favorite YouTube channel, so that's out there.
Wait, just in general?
They didn't say gun channel, so I'm going to go with YouTube channel because it's dangerous to get into your favorite gun channel, Waters.
I've been watching the Hodge twins like crazy.
Oh, really?
I love them. They're hilarious.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. They're kind of crazy. I see them on Steven Crowder, but I've never really. I guess I gotta start checking out their channel.
So I started watching the Hodge twins when I was like really getting into lifting.
Okay.
And I was doing intermittent fasting. Like I'm doing intermittent fasting right now.
Okay.
And so I was watching the Hodge twins there, and then I just kind of watched the progression. Now that they have the Conservative Twins channel, they're just hilarious to me. Like I love those guys.
Okay, cool. I watch a lot of TFL Car, TFL Now, and all that kind of stuff. TFL Truck. Those guys, I think, do a good job. They're in Colorado, and they do a good job of car stuff. So they seem like down to earth.
Car channel wise, I'm more of a car review. So I tend to like. God, man, my memory's so bad. I forgot his name. I can't remember it. He's a car review. I love him a lot. He's on Top Gear right now.
I know who you're talking about. I can't believe Chris, not Chris.
Chris. Yeah, no, Chris. Yeah, is it Chris Harris?
Chris Harris. Yes, Chris Harris. Sorry,
yes.
How can I not get that? Also, watch Drive Tribe. Drive Tribe belongs to.
I do watch Drive Tribe.
Yeah, Drive Tribe's pretty cool. Yeah. Someone said this is gonna be the last thing, and then we got to get out of here, guys. So Steadley wants to know Brugger and Thomit or versus FN. Which one? B&T or FN?
Hello?
Yeah. B&T or FN?
Yeah,
FN? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's cool. Can't do that. All right. So listen, I'm gonna end it here. Stay right there, man. I'm gonna drop the end of this thing right now. Boom on you guys. Thanks to everyone for listening. Make sure you thumbs up this video. Make sure you share, comment, leave your questions and all that kind of stuff. As Colion is saying here, make sure you share this, right? Because that's the big thing that you guys need to do. Share it up. We'll get him to come back at some time. But in the meanwhile, thanks a lot for coming on, man, and answering all these questions and stuff like that.
No problem, and I'm going to try to drop that video right now. So.
All right, cool. All right, yeah, drop it right now. Before I leave, I'll watch it and share it, make a comment. And I invite all you guys that are still hanging out with us. We got like 200 people in here with us live right now. Go check out on Colion Noir's YouTube the video he's dropping and comment and share and all that. Let's get it popping. Any last words, my friend?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Oh. Thank you to everybody in the community. Thank you for making me who I am today, where I am today. The support has been amazing, and I love all of you.
Yeah, and folks out there saying thank you. They're saying never stop fighting. People are asking about whiskey and stuff like that. We'll get to those things. Shout out to everyone. Listen,
I'll come back and we'll get it.
We'll do it again. Tomorrow's the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to everyone out there. Stay safe. Have fun. you know, enjoy the family and all those good things, man. I hope you have a happy, safe 4th of July.
I will be working and drinking.
Yes. Yes. All right. Good combo. Good combo. All right, guys. We're out of here. We'll see you. Peace.
All right, guys.